Now, what are the final products of digestion? Glucose, amino acids, fatty acids and glycerol. Now, these have to be absorbed into the blood. Okay. Now, after the food is digested, the products of digestion must be absorbed into the blood. Now, this happens in the ileum by certain structures called villi. And this diagram here is the diagram of a single villus, and you can see the villus has a single layer of epithelial cells. And this makes it specially adapted for absorption because the absorbing surface has a very low diffusion distance. The food doesn't have to travel very far to get into the blood. So it's very thin walled, and they have a large surface area because there's so many villi. The area is equal to the area of a football field in a single person's ileum. Is it clear? Now, how does the food get absorbed? See, the glucose will enter into the blood by diffusion and active transport so that all the glucose can be absorbed. So the glucose is absorbed by diffusion and active transport, and it goes into the blood. The amino acids are absorbed in the same way. So the amino acids and the glucose are absorbed by diffusion and active transport into the blood. So the blood which is entering into the ileum will actually have less amino acids and glucose than the blood which is leaving the ileum. So here there will be glucose and amino acids in higher concentration than when the blood was entering into the ileum or into the villus. So here these are in a lower concentration. Is it clear? Now, this is the structure in white is a lymph vessel, and the lymph vessel will give rise to some structures called lacteals, and the lacteal is going to absorb the fatty acids and the glycerol. So the fatty acids and the glycerol don't go into the blood, but they go into the lacteals, and then they're carried away by the lymph vessels. So the lymph which is entering the villus will have a lower concentration of fatty acids and glycerol than the lymph which is leaving. Is it clear? So here you'll have a higher concentration of fatty acids and glycerol. Is that clear? So this is how absorption occurs in the ileum. Any questions on this? Now, how are the villi specially adapted for absorption? Let's see the three features. Number one, they have very thin walls. So they have a low diffusion distance. They don't have to travel very far before they can enter the blood. Number one. Number two, there are numerous villi. So what happens? They have a large surface area. Is it clear? Number three, they are richly supplied blood vessels which carry away the absorbed food, and that helps to maintain a high concentration gradient for rapid absorption of the food. So these are the three features of the villi that help it to absorb food effectively. Is that clear now?